This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jacksons.
Start collecting them today.
Jacksons, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
It's time for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the ICCU YouTube chat, or leave us a message on the Signature Roofing voice box at speakpipe.com/BNN. The BNN Postgame Show is presented by Jacksons, where you can get a 99-cent 16-ounce coffee or refill with Let's Go Rewards. Need snacks or a cold drink? Visit one of the 300 Jacksons locations today. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. For all your painting needs, check out RowPaint.com. Now, let's join the guys at the James Kitchen and Bar near Albertson Stadium for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News.
Hello and welcome in Bronco Nation News. It's not quite the James, but we're here at ExtraMile Arena. I'm Nathan Carroll here with Abe Jackson. Coming off a Boise State victory, their first one of the year, moved to 1-1, a 101-77 victory over the Utah Valley Wolverines. And for those who are concerned that the season's falling apart, this team may not win a game, they get one in the win column, and not just get one in the win column, but do so pretty emphatically.
Yeah, they did. And I think the energy that they came out with was something that we did not see against Hawaii Pacific. I mean, the way from the tip that the guards for Boise State got after the guards for Utah Valley, I think really set the tone. And, you know, there's going to be film on for defense. They gave up almost 50% shooting, and Coach Rice mentioned it with Bob and I, that there were some rotations that weren't great, but much better game overall. I mean, they beat them. They scored over 100 points, gave up 77, I think it was. So just the type of game that you would want to you'd want to see coming off of that hard loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And Drew Fielder and Leon Rice both talked about in post game just a better week of prep, better practices, and they just felt the team looked a lot better coming into this game, and I think it showed very early on. You talked about the defensive intensity. I thought offensively, obviously it helps when you shoot 46% from three, and it never hurts, but I thought they had a lot better shot selection too, got the ball inside, got good looks. 34 free throw attempts, something I'm sure Leon Rice is going to love to see. They got to the line early and often throughout this game, led by Drew Fielder. who's 20 points in just 15 minutes.
yeah. Well, he had the first, it was 7 or 9 points before he got those fouls. And what this team showed that they have is a bunch of dudes who can score. And I think that might be one of the toughest things for the coaching staff is that usually you have, a couple go-to scores, then you some solid secondary scorers. You could have 6, 7 different players maybe this year lead the team at some point in scoring. So many options you can go to. And what I like too is, boy, the freshman NATO. I think he's going to be explosive. And once he can figure out kind of what to do in the paint, because he can finish in the paint, but once he gets up against some guys who are 6'10", 6'11" inside, do you have a floater? Do you do well at kicking it out? Mm-hmm. But, man, getting into the paint, he showed he can do that.
And his first step is lightning quick. I mean, the second that ball's on the ground, he's by guys. And I thought he was extremely impressive, had 12 points tonight. You talked about the other freshman, Spencer Aarons, has 19 points, goes 2 of 6 from 3, but 6 of 13 from the floor, got to the free throw line. I thought he was pretty good defensively as well. What have you made of now 2 games into the year? Spencer Aarons clearly has a role as a true freshman. And again, with 19 points today, what'd you make of his performance and what he's shown?
I think he has the ability to stretch the defense. And when you get a guy like him out on the floor, and then you have Andrews or NATO with the ball who can get by their man, you're taking a 4-man out of the paint. And you're going to take him out to the 3-point line. So it even opens it up more for driving kicks or finish at the hoop for your guards. So I love Aaron's, what I see. And what I really like is his quick release. A lot of times when people catch the ball, they'll catch it and then they'll have to bring it down and then go back up. Wherever he catches it, he's just straight into that motion. He's already, 6'9" or so, 6'8", 6'9". And then with that high release, that's pretty nice.
I would be shocked if he's like 6'10". Normally on these recruiting sites, if you're listed at 6'8", you come in and it's like he looks 6'6". The first time I met him, I was looking up.
Yeah, he could 6'9", 6'10". Yeah, he's going to be up there.
He's a tall kid. He's got a great build for a true freshman. Like so many guys, they need a year to get their bodies right because Mountain West, D1 basketball, it's physical. I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think Aarons has shown a lot. I think he's been tremendous so far. One thing that really stood out for me, obviously, when you hit 100 points in a game, a lot of possessions, a lot of tempo. I thought Boise State ran the floor a lot tonight. That's something that Leon Rice at Mountain West Media Days alluded to, said this might be a team that we run out and transition a little bit more. I don't have the fast break numbers in front of me right now. Oh, they're 13 points off fast breaks. It felt like more to me.
Well, I think almost all of those were in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, that was when they got out and run was in the second half. And there was a time where Drew Fielder got the rebound and in control. Now, we've seen some 5-mans in the past try and lead a fast break, and they've been out of control, but in control, rebound all the way the length of the court and then finished at the hoop. We saw Javen Buchanan do that when he was playing at the 3, probably the 4 at that time, getting the rebound and going. So I think that's probably what Coach Rice was alluding to, is that you don't have to, whoever gets the rebound doesn't have to take that extra 1 or 2 seconds and find that guard. Whoever can get the rebound can take at least the first couple dribbles and get that fast break going.
Yeah, and you talked about, Javen had a full court pass to Andrew Meadow to lead a fast break. And I want to say their first bucket of the second half was in transition. So feels like maybe that's something that Leon Rice stretched a little bit in the halftime adjustments. And then you got a guy like RJ Keene gets inserted into the starting lineup, gets 20 minutes tonight. And he's one of those players as well. Exceptional transition. You see when there's a long rebound and he gets the ball, he just goes. He's looking for people. But as I alluded to, RJ Keene in the starting lineup, Pearson Carmichael out. What did you make of RJ Keene, his performance tonight, and what inserting him into the starting lineup did for this Bronco team?
You're just looking for combinations, right? We've had seasons where Coach Rice has, in January and February, we've seen something different in the starting lineup. And so a change of the starting lineup isn't really surprising, especially after that first game. But I think they just wanted some comfortability, I guess, out there. And RJ Keene, who's been here, knows what to do. Not only just what to do if he's on the offensive side, but knows pretty much where everyone else is supposed to be as well. So communicating out there. But I want to take a second and talk about Andrew Meadow. The way that he attacked the hoop, I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. He came in as a shooter. He's always had a very strong lower half, and now I think his upper half is starting to catch up with that. And there was a couple where he took some big old bumps inside, and you couldn't even tell that he got hit. And he had the strength to finish and get the and one. So Andrew Meadow, I think, is going to take a step up this year.
Yeah, and he finishes the game with 18 points. And really felt like another one of those Andrew Meadow games where it's, oh, Drew Fielder's doing this and AG Nato's having these great finishes. And then you look down, it's like Andrew Meadow at 18 points.
How many times last year was it like that? We're sitting there thinking, oh, Tyson did this and this person. What? Oh, Andrew Meadow, he had 13 points and 5 rebounds and shot 60%. Yeah, pretty good.
Just so steady, so consistent. One thing I did notice, there's two things about Andrew. I'll talk about the second thing in a second. The one thing I did notice, I thought his defense was a lot better tonight, particularly looked a lot stronger too. You talked about that upper half starting to come along. I thought on the defensive side is where I really noticed it, but then no goggles tonight.
Sure.
18 points. Drew Fielder and Leon both mentioned that, when you got those big goggles, it kills your peripheral vision a little bit. It sounds like contact lenses might be something he's doing going forward.
Well, he's changed it up every year.
Yeah.
Right. Was it last year that he cut the ponytail?
Cut the
ponytail.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a shock to the system for people looking at him. And now you're out there without the goggles on, which everyone just knows Andrew Meadow by. But man, you put up a high double digits, you shoot 6 out of 10 and become a leader. And I think that's something that he's trying to do. He was our guest on the radio, and he said, it's hard for me to be a vocal leader. That's just it's not who I am to do that, but I'm trying to do it. And I'm also trying to just lead by example with work ethic and things that I'm doing. So Andrew Meadow could be that guy that we're talking about. Who's going to be the leader of this team? And Andrew Meadow with his play for sure, but also he's saying he's starting to speak up a little more in practice and in the locker room. So it could be him.
And that was something which we'll have full interviews with Leon Rice up on the Bronco Nation News YouTube page right after we do interviews. I don't think we'll do any interviews during the post-game show. But that's something that Leon talked about was he wanted this team to be player run and felt like after that game, part of what made this last week of practice so good, the players were the ones leading everything. Talked about Meadow, talked about Javen Buchanan, said that the last 3 days he's really stepped up as a vocal leader to kind of become what he called those everyday guys, right? You don't have to worry about, is it a good day, is it a bad day? Just comes in every day, gets better, does his 1%, and, obviously alluded to Tyson Dagenhart being the all-world version of that. So, yeah, I think that sometimes you take a loss like that and it can refocus you. I think we saw that last year at the loss at Colorado State. That was kind of the turning point for the season. And obviously you never want to lose to Hawaii Pacific, but maybe that was the loss that sort of jump-started this team, got them in the right mindset. And I thought certainly just from an intensity point of view that things looked much better tonight.
By far, I don't think there was a single time that the defense for Boise State took it at a guard of Hawaii Pacific. I think it was always the other way around. I think Hawaii Pacific was putting pressure on our defense the entire time. And in this game, from the get-go, the defense was out there and hounding the guards, and it set the tone for the entire game defensively, especially in those one-on-one matchups that I feel like Hawaii Pacific got the best of Boise State in. But one-on-one matchups in this game, I think Boise State got the edge.
And ultimately, defense ends up forcing 16 turnovers. That's not a stat that under Leon Rice you always see up there.
And I think 9 steals, too. You get a bunch of turnovers, but you get that many steals. That usually leads to something really good on the other end. And so when you turning the ball over, but there are good turnovers and bad turnovers. You get a steal, and that's a good turnover.
And how about this, too? Just going down the list, Andrew Meadow has 3 steals, but then Fielder has 1, Buchanan has 1, Andrews has 1, Keene has 1, Nato has 1, Parolin has 1. Whole team effort, and I think that really just goes to show that the whole team came in, had a good week of practice, was more focused, and it showed. And it showed. You mentioned there's still some defensive rotation stuff that'll need to be cleaned up, but at the very least now the intensity was there.
Exactly.
The effort was there. You can clean up all the other stuff, but if there's no intensity, the X's and O's.
And let's give Javen Buchanan a little credit too. Maybe not his best scoring night. I think he did hit double digits, but also led the team 6 assists.
Yes.
Great job moving the ball by Javen. Found some of his teammates, and they were knocking down shots. So, and that's one of the aspects that one of the things of a really good player that you have to look at. Can they affect the game if maybe their offense isn't clicking great? And Javen did that. He did okay offensively, but 6 assists to lead the team. A great job.
5 rebounds as well. Really just finding ways to impact the game, like you said, when you're not able to score. And I also kind of along those lines was impressed with Dylan Andrews. He's the leading scorer against Hawaii Pacific. Comes out today, just 7 points, but only took 3 shots. Didn't try to force things. One thing against Hawaii Pacific. He had 5 turnovers, I believe, brought that down to just 2 tonight. Had a catch and shoot 3, which I love to see out of Dylan Andrews, right? Such a talented player on the ball that if he starts to take more of an off-ball scoring initiative, I think that, makes his offensive limit the ceiling. And really, when you score 101 points, most players probably had a pretty good game.
A lot of things are going right. 5 players in double digits. I think we're going to see that quite a bit this year. Maybe not with 5, but multiple players in double digits. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring team. They might give up some high scores on defense, but I think this is going to be a high-scoring team.
Yeah, a lot of guys who can shoot the rock, a lot of guys who can get their own buckets. I think you're absolutely right. Abe, one final thought, and then I'll let you go home, get out of here, get home to the family. 101-77. Just any final thoughts on this win that you wanted to share with the people?
The intensity of the bounce back. I mean, that was the biggest question. I mean, the question wasn't, is this team talented? I mean, that's not the question. People can see that it's a talented team, but how was the week leading up to it? How is the intensity? How's the buy-in from the new guys and the old guys who have completely different roles from last year? And I think we saw that there is buy-in, there is intensity, there's an effort there that wasn't there in the first game. And I think it's going to show on film with Coach Rice. It showed to the fans that were here watching the game. And so hopefully they can just keep it rolling and get through some of this non-conference with a nice record.
Yeah, absolutely. Start off 1-1. It's not the start you wanted, but certainly the performance that I think Bronco Nation wanted to see today. Like you said, strong bounce back. The intensity was there. The effort was there. And maybe now this team will just keep rolling at this pace. That would be the hope. So anyways, Abe, thanks for having you on. Yeah. And thanks for joining us.
All right.
Pleasure as always. And
we'll see you next game.
Yeah, absolutely. See you next game. Abe Jackson, everybody, the best man, just great insight as always, coming on and joining us for the Jackson Postgame Show, coming on at the Lithia Pregame Show. Just an oracle of basketball knowledge. So we appreciate Abe coming on. So Boise State takes care of business, 101-77. Really good games all around. The team shot 46% from 3, shot 54% from the field. Strong bounce back performance for the offense in particular, after scoring just 78 against Hawaii Pacific. Poor shooting performance. Saw the 3 start falling, and I think a lot of that is just you're getting the ball in guys' hands where they're comfortable shooting it, right? I mean, Drew Fielder felt very comfortable right there at that top of the top of the arc. Clearly we've seen in a few games now, like that's a spot he feels comfortable shooting from. Javen Buchanan had a couple of nice rhythm threes, or attempts, I should say, just hit 1 3 on the game. Spencer Aarons, obviously only 2 of 6 from 3, but it felt like more. I don't know how you guys felt watching it either in the arena or on the Mountain West Network, but felt like Spencer Aarons, just every time he touched the ball, felt like that shot was going to go in. So let's get to some comments in the ICC YouTube chat and just see how you guys are feeling. Let's check the pulse of Bronco Nation. Got to play good. Happy more core players from last year, like Meadow made more of a pop tonight with the add-ons. Yeah, absolutely. I think the way that the returners played last week, I believe just going 1 of 14 from 3 in that game and just not having a strong impact against Hawaii Pacific. Good to see the returners bounce back and have a nice game. Guys like Andrew Meadow having a strong performance. Javen Buchanan, like we talked about, going 10 and 6 and 5 on the box score. TK asking, what do you expect the long-term starting lineup to be? It's a great question. And I know a lot of people will be calling for Spencer Aarons to get put into the starting lineup. And I'll preface by saying I get it. I mean, he was so good offensively tonight, and I thought showed some nice things defensively as well. But I think the starting 5, it's more about fit than it is just get your 5 best players on the floor. I think we saw a little bit of that with Pearson Carmichael in the starting lineup, and talked a little bit about it in pregame. When you've got Pearson Carmichael and Javen Buchanan and Drew Fielder and Dylan Andrews, like that's a lot of guys who are at their best with the ball in their hands. When you get a guy like RJ Keene in there, RJ Keene doesn't need to have the ball in his hands to make plays happen, right? He's so good as a connector, finding the next pass. He's so good in transition, finding teammates. Then obviously everything that RJ Keene does defensively and what he brings in that aspect. So I think it's a winning starting 5. I think it's going to be the one in the short term. In the long term, that'll be the question of, do you find a way to get Aarons in there and then maybe slide Meadow to the 2 and Javen to the 3? But we'll see what direction they ultimately go long term. That's for now, though. I think this starting 5 looked really, really good. Also mentioning Fielder, huge impact. Yeah, 20 points in 15 minutes. I mean, he just made an effort. Had the first 9 points of the game for Boise State. At one point, it was Boise State leading 9-4, and he had all 9 points. Was outscoring both teams combined. So the Stable asked Nathan, "Can you dunk?" Actually, great. I broke my foot about 4 years ago and had to get surgery, and I haven't tried to dunk since then. I used to be able to back in my prime, so we'll see. Maybe one day we'll give it another try. AP, our buddy AT, talking about this is a volleyball school and a soccer school now. Where's the coverage for that? Yeah. Volleyball picked up a big win in 4 sets against Colorado State. Obviously, women's soccer going to be playing for a Mountain West championship tonight. Sounds like there'll be pretty good media coverage there as well. I know it's tough with BJ out of town, and I've actually got a sick wife at home that I'm going to go tend to as soon as we're out here. So don't know for sure if we'll have some BNN coverage there or not. But yeah, absolutely credit and shout out to the volleyball and women's soccer teams. They've been very, very, very good this season to start the year. Sick Modern talking about Meadow so strong going to the rim. Yeah, one of his strengths, just his ability to attack a closeout, right? Catch the ball in the corner and his primary defenders in conflict. It's one of the reasons why when I listed those guys who don't need the ball or that need the ball in their hands, Meadow's not one of those guys because so much of what he does well, he can do as an off-ball player and just, attacking from other guys setting things up for him. But says no hockey hair, no goggles, hardly recognize him. Yeah, 2 years ago kind of took over Twitter, was viral a little bit because of the locks, because of the goggles, and now it's just a new man, I guess, trying to let the basketball speak for itself at this point. So also saying as long as Aarons is playing 20 plus, I think it's fine to bring him off the bench. Yeah, and my guess is that'll probably be the philosophy with both him and Pearson Carmichael. Again, two guys who can bring shooting, but probably at their best when they can have their ball in their hand and create a little bit more. And so you bring that in as your bench offensive scoring unit. This Boise State team is deep, man. They're deep. You got AG NATO coming off the bench, Aarons, Carmichael, Dominic Parolin, not a scorer per se, but just giving steady kind of do-it-all minutes for this team. I think Boise State's going to remain 9 deep for most of this season because they've got 9 guys who can go and play at a high level. I guess one thing that could be noted, Julian Bowie did not come in until the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the game. We talked about, all right, are there going to be some rotation changes? And Bowie, it seems like sliding into a lesser role for now in terms of playing time. Now, could be a one-off with just this game. Could be a million things going on that we don't necessarily want to make broad assumptions or broad declarations from that. But I did think it was worthwhile, worth noting. So Boise State, like I said, 101-77. How about this? They led for 38 minutes and 59 seconds, essentially 39 minutes. The moment they got that first bucket, Boise State never trailed in this game. Biggest lead got up to 26 with 51 seconds to go. There were no times being tied, no lead changes. Boise State got the lead and just held on to it for the rest of the game. So I don't know. Maybe let me know how you guys feel, Bronco Nation, but I feel like that's exactly what you wanted to see in a bounce-back performance, right? You see a team, they played really well. They didn't just dominate, and I mean they were leading end to end, but there was some moments there in the first half where Utah Valley was counterpunching. I think at one point pulled it within 6 there towards the end of the first half, and Boise State just continued to extend that lead, continue to play at a high level. I think that this is pretty much exactly what the doctor ordered. If you're Bronco Nation, if you were panicked about where's this team at, where's their heads going to be at, I think that's exactly what you want to see. Again, our guy, Sick Modern, team's so deep, Bowie and Blom hardly played. Yeah, how about Bon Blom? Worth noting. Comes in at the end of the game, which means there's no plans for Bon Blom to redshirt this season. And I'm sure some of that is just going to be the redshirt rules and expecting that goes away in the next 4 years. But Bon Blom, another true freshman that's getting pulled off the bench. And, I think there's a non-zero chance where, in 10, 15 games, we're looking up and you've got obviously NATO and Aarons in the lineup, and Bon Blom might be getting real minutes because he's, I think he's going to be a guy. I think he has a good chance of being a guy. Chad Boca, UVU, ain't no joke. Great game. Maybe a couple of things to work on, but a great rebound. Absolutely. Yeah. Utah Valley's a good team, guys. They're top 125 in Ken Palm. They're pretty much right in line with like Grand Canyon, who's picked to finish 4th in the conference. So that Utah Valley, that's a good win. That spread was only 10 on Ken Palm. I think the Vegas line was 12. Like, that is a good win to do so by margin, and one that could end up aging really well. Utah Valley is probably the prohibitive favorites in the WAC this year, with Grand Canyon no longer in that conference, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, go check out the schedules for the WAC. There's only 7 teams in the WAC now, so they're playing the 6 other schools 3 times to make an 18-game conference slate. So Utah Valley, for example, will play Utah Tech 3 separate times this season. Regardless, though, I think that's a really good Utah Valley team. They're going to be contending for a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. To win by margin like that, I thought was very, very impressive. And like you said, Chad, there's some things to clean up, but we talked about it with Abe. When the effort and when the intensity is there, you can clean up X's and O's stuff. But the effort and the intensity has to be there. Didn't think it was always there against Hawaii Pacific, and absolutely thought it was there tonight. So only gripes, too many missed free throws, and UVU getting to the rim too often. Yeah, I think this team definitely still has some issues in terms of perimeter defense, and I think that's fair to say. It was an issue, obviously, for most of last season. Guys like Javen Buchanan and Andrew Meadow, I think that they have certainly strengths as defenders, but at times they can be a little flat-footed. And so at times, Utah Valley got looks at the rim. I will say, though, what I thought was much better tonight, or today, I guess, than against Hawaii Pacific, when Utah Valley got to the rim, I thought the Broncos did a much better job of recovering and getting a contest up, right? So if someone's in the corner out of position or late to a rotation, they're still taking that rotation hard and either getting a rebound or trying to get a late contest up. So I thought that part of it was much better. And then, the missed free throws, they shot 27 of 34 from the free throw line, which 80%, you take 80%. That's a pretty good free throw percentage. But I think in particular, it felt so bad because Andrew Meadow goes 1 of 2 on his technical foul shots. And then in that same sort of strange period, Dylan Andrews. Now, it says he went 2 of 3 from the free throw line. If I remember correctly, Dylan Andrews went 0 of 2 on those 2 free throws. So I don't know if something went wrong with the stat broadcast or if they overruled the free throws. I don't know what happened there, but certainly this team's not perfect yet. This team's not going to go 30-1 from here on out and just dominate every single game. But I thought they showed a lot of improvement. Talked about when we were back in interviews that Drew Fielder just talked a lot about how much better their preparation was this week. Just practices were harder, more intense, team being more focused, and they really bought in after that loss to Hawaii Pacific. Spencer Aarons talked about how everyone was smiling throughout this week of practice and even during the game today, that against Hawaii Pacific, a little bit of that, I think, joy got robbed from them, and I'm stepping in to speak for Spencer there, but just talked about how obviously when you're winning, it's a lot more fun, but there were a lot more smiles, a lot more just kind of calm energy there today. And Leon talked about how he gave a ton of credit to Javen Buchanan and the role that he had stepping up as a leader. We talked about in pregame show, hey, who's going to be this emotional leader on this team? And Leon pretty candidly called out that Javen had a really strong 3 days as a vocal leader, rallying the team and getting better effort out of practice. So that's I think you have to be encouraged going forward, and I really do think the Hawaii Pacific game, obviously you can't wipe it from the resume, and it's a loss that can absolutely come back and kill this team if they're on the bubble, or if they win the conference and they're maybe should be a 7 seed and that loss drops them to an 8 or a 9. Like, that loss will hurt them, but in terms of just projecting what's predictable from this team, I think you might just be best off wiping that Hawaii Pacific game from your memory. I think it was a strange game, and I think that what they showed tonight is probably closer to what this team will look like the rest of the season. Could be wrong, but just my take on the matter. So UT Rio Grande Valley next up. Meadow kills it when he gets PO. I'm not sure what PO poo. Playing time. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe issue a retraction or a correction there, P. Silly, for us. What else? Sick modern shot selection was my favorite improvement. Attack the rim. Yeah, it definitely seemed like made an effort to get to the rim more. Shots were pretty much 50-50 against Hawaii Pacific in terms of taking threes versus taking twos. 22 three-pointers attempted tonight, 57 total shots, which my mental math right means 37 shots from two-point range. Definitely made an emphasis to get downhill more, get more shots in the paint where, they did Utah Valley does a lot of things well. They don't have a traditional rim protector in there. Isaac Davis is 6'8". He's a freaky athlete, but he's 6'8". He's not someone who's going to be sitting there protecting the rim and blocking 5 shots per game. I thought the coaching staff did a nice job emphasizing, guys, this is a game that we want to get downhill. We want to be able to attack their lack of interior bigs on. So, what else do we have here in the comments here in the ICC YouTube chat? I know we get your comments in for the Matt Boucher player of the game. We've got a few good options here. 20 from Fielder, 18 from Meadow, 19 from Aarons. Let us know, who do you guys think is the Matt Boucher player of the game here from this game today? Few good options. Look who's near the top of scoring again, Andrew Meadow. Yeah, I mean, preseason All Mountain West. I think that's sort of the expectations for Andrew Meadow this year is, they want him to be one of the team's leading scorers, should be one of the better players in the conference. I know Maui was saying that there was some issues with the broadcast. I don't know if you guys experienced that as well, but said Fielder looked good. And yeah, I mean, 20 points in just 15 minutes. Now, Leon talked about, he had some fouls that caused him to play less. It wasn't that Leon saw him score 20 points. It was like, we got to get him out of there. Talked about how there's some growth in that, but at the same time said, if Drew Fielder never ended up in foul trouble, he may have played, he may have scored 40 tonight. He was that dominant in getting his shots up. And how encouraging is it, by the way, if you're a member of Bronco Nation, that through 2 games, probably your 2 best players have been Dylan Andrews and Drew Fielder, right? Because what you've got out of Andrew Meadow, out of Pearson Carmichael, out of RJ Keene, you have a good idea of what those guys are going to bring. But for your 2 in 2 games, your 2 best players to be the 2 transfers that you brought in, the 2 guys who are a little bit more of an unknown, I think that's really encouraging for this team and what the ceiling of this team could ultimately be. I said in the preseason, I really did think this was going to be the team that gets to the tournament and gets a win. There was so much I liked about the roster, and a big part of it was those 2 pieces. I was really high on Dylan Andrews. I was really high on Drew Fielder as being, potentially all Mountain West type players. And so far, I think through 2 games, they've both shown in flashes the ability to do that. So, and then how about AG Nato as well and Spencer Aarons? Both the true freshmen come in. If Spencer Aarons, 19 points, looks even better, I think than many fans expected. And then AG Nato, I mean, when they got AG Nato, I figured Nato would be a developmental guy, comes from NBA Academy in Africa, from Angola. You watch his film, and I mean, he's just absolutely dominating guys, but not the highest level of comp, I imagine, in Angola. And then he comes out here and he's doing the same exact thing to Utah Valley, right? A pretty good D1 program. So I think the newcomers between the portal and the freshman class, I think Leon Rice and the staff absolutely knocked it out of the park. And if you start to get, obviously Javen and Andrew had pretty strong games today, but you start to get some good games out of Pearson Carmichael. You get RJ Keene doing RJ Key things. I think the sky's the limits for this team. I really do. And Sick Modern saying it, yeah, you could argue Spencer Aarons has been the best player thus far through 2 games. He's been really good. And he talked a little bit about that, how in the 2 scrimmages, he didn't play a lot, didn't play a ton against Idaho, didn't play against Washington, and just kind of had I guess, like a come to Jesus moment about it of, he said, I need to be better in practice. I need to be practicing harder if I want to play more. And so said he started practicing better. Drew Fielder pointed out Spencer wasn't even in the room, and Drew said, yes, you should have seen Spencer this week in practice. He was a man with his hair on fire. Like he was practicing his tail off, and it's translating onto the court with a 19-point, 6 of 13 performance. Finished with 4 rebounds as well. Obviously, when you're a Leon Rice coach team, rebounds are always going to be big. Some of these Boucher real estate picks got a couple people going for Meadow in there. Fielders or Aarons coming for Dagenhart. I don't know about that in terms of coming for Tyson and what he did. Although during the game, Johnny Ballgame did point out, he's like, Tyson Dagenhart averaged 9.9 points per game his freshman year. If Spencer Aarons can average 10 points per game as a true freshman, he puts himself on track. He puts himself on track to maybe not surpass Tyson in that program scoring record, but gives himself a chance to put himself into position. If he stays 4 years, if he gets 10 points per game this year, he's got a chance. So, so how about this for my Matt Boucher? I know you guys, a couple of you guys went with Andrew Meadow in the comments. I'm going to go with Drew Fielder for the Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game. If you need a home, hit up our friends at Matt Boucher. They will set you up. They will hook you up. Some of the best in the business. Drew Fielder, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 8 of 11 shooting. Throws in an assist, throws in a steal, throws in a block. Oh, and he only played 15 minutes. I mean, Drew Fielder, when he was on the floor, had some foul trouble, but when he was on the floor, Drew Fielder was, to me, the most impactful player on the floor. I thought he was exceptional tonight. And if you're getting that version of Drew Fielder is an all-Mountain West player. I think no doubt about it. And if you're getting that version of Drew Fielder offensively, I think the sky's the ceiling for him. He's an all-Mountain West caliber player. You're talking about Dylan Andrews being an all-Mountain West caliber player, and Javen Buchanan and Andrew Meadow and Drew Fielder. Like, it's a lot of guys that we're talking about have all-Mountain West ceilings. And yeah, in just 15 minutes, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 8 of 11 shooting. That's going to be my choice for the Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game. I thought he was very, very good. Some foul stuff, but other than that, I thought he contributed in a lot of ways at a really, really high level. So next game will be UT Rio Grande Valley, a not as good team as Utah Valley. Like that Utah Valley game, there's a good chance that's quad 3, not quad 4, and a chance. Maybe a chance it's quad 2 if they start putting together wins, but probably quad 3. Like UT Rio Grande Valley will be a quad 4 game. That's a team that's last I checked, they're in the low 200s in Ken Palm. So that's one that going in, it'll probably be 18, 20 point spread, and expect Boise State to win by a lot. But as we've learned this season, you can't always bank on that. Can't always bank on being able to pull off a win when you're a heavy favorite like that. So other than that, I think we've pretty much touched on the team. I mean, like I said, defensive intensity was much better. As long as that continues going forward, again, the defense wasn't perfect. There's a lot to clean up there, but the intensity is there, which in these quad 3, quad 4 games, as long as the intensity and effort's there, I think it dramatically affects what you're able to do defensively. But then offensively, much better shot selection. They ran in transition. Again, just took 22 threes and hit 46%. I doubt this is going to be a 46% shooting team from 3 this season. Probably not even a 40% shooting team. But it's encouraging to see the threes start falling for this team, considering some of the shooting issues that a lot of these guys have had, even going back to last year, right? Like, even guys who weren't in this program. Dylan Andrews shot sub 33% from 3. I don't remember the exact number. I know Drew Fielder shot 25% from 3 last year. He goes 2 of 3 tonight. So I think a lot to be encouraged by. And look, when you get a 24-point win and you're leading end to end, it's hard not to be too encouraged. Bill watching from Minnesota. Bill, we appreciate it. Appreciate you watching from Minnesota and supporting Bronco Nation news. So again, I'll mention filling in. My name's Nathan Carroll, filling in for BJ, who's back home. His family's got a nonprofit, and they do a charity gala every year. And with football not playing this weekend, it worked out for him to be able to attend not just any gala this year. It's their 25th. Sounds like they're doing it up pretty big. And so we appreciate BJ and all he does for BNN, and hope he's having a blast. It sounds like he might be the auctioneer tonight, helping run the auction that they do at the charity gala. So I'm going to need somebody who's in St. Louis to get to that gala and get some video of BJ doing some auctioneer work, because yeah, man, I'd love to see it. So Mountain West taking care of business today, minus Air Force. Yeah, I saw that they lost to Austin P by 20. Air Force is very, very bad. But yeah, I saw that Wyoming ended up taking a victory. Who is Wyoming playing? Someone in the chat can help me out. Saw that New Mexico was up big, which was good to see. I believe San Jose did lose today. They're playing one of the Santa Barbara, I want to say is who they were playing. So But all in all, yeah, it's been a down start for the Mountain West. I mean, Grand Canyon had a bad loss to Youngstown State. UNLV had a bad loss. Fresno and San Jose have had rough losses. One of the things the Mountain West has done so well, it's helped it be a 3 or 4 bid league in recent seasons, is they haven't taken a lot of those bad losses. They've been able to win the big games, and just so far, a lot of bad losses for Mountain West teams. And it's really right now Utah State, Nevada, I guess, and San Diego State who have looked pretty solid to start the season in non-con, just from a resume and perspective. Again, Boise State looked really solid tonight, but the Hawaii Pacific loss is going to hurt them. And thank you, Sick Modern, appreciate it. Fullerton, that's who they ended up taking down. Another Bob Davies. NATO moves different. Yeah, his athleticism, his ability to get downhill, his first step, he just flies by guys. And there's some stuff to work on. Want to see him be able to pass out a little bit more, get some kickouts when he does drive, and there isn't a lane there. His finishing around the rim is special. I mean, his ability to contort his body and find creative ways to finish and ultimately get to the free throw line. I mean, drew 5 fouls tonight, which is something that you love to see in a point guard who is going to be downhill oriented, and then got to the free throw line, went 5 of 6. That's exactly what you want to see. So, AG NATO had a big night, and so. I think all things considered, this is pretty much the performance that you wanted to see if you're Bronco Nation. Took care of business, big win. The offense looked great, out-rebounded Utah Valley. You forced turnovers, ran in transition. Really, I don't think that there's too many spots where you're like we talked about, some defensive rotation stuff probably needs to be cleaned up. But I think for the most part, you got to feel a lot better about this team. I think, yes, the Hawaii Pacific loss happened. The team clearly went out, they flushed it, they played really well tonight, and I think as a fan base, you can start to flush that loss a little bit. So, and Will saying, looks like they're up to 45 in KenPom rankings. Love to see it. And that's the unfortunate part about the Hawaii Pacific loss, is that you lost to a D2 program. The fortunate part about losing to Hawaii Pacific is that you lost to a D2 program, and that it doesn't hurt your KenPom, won't hurt your net ranking, your KPI, all of those computer metrics that the NCAA uses as part of their selection process. None of them are going to factor in that loss to Hawaii Pacific. Now, again, the committee will, and they'll probably drop them a seed line based off of what they, the metrics may say they should be. But at least on paper, when you look at KenPom, it's going to say Boise State is 45 and moved up 10 instead of moving down quite a bit. And Candid Trader asking, is KenPom the number one indicator? So KenPom's a predictive, forward-looking metric. It's meant to be an indicator of quality. It's not the number one indicator that the NCAA uses, but it is a part of the team sheets. And one thing that we've seen in recent years is if a team is significantly better in terms of their predictives, like KenPom, if they're significantly better in their predictives than the resume schedule stuff, a lot of times the committee will factor that into the seeding, into what seed line they fall on. Probably the best example of this in the last few years has been Gonzaga. Gonzaga last year gets an 8 seed. They had predictives that suggested that they should be a 3, 4, 5 seed, something like that. But the resume showed maybe closer to a bubble team. They get selected as an 8 seed. Go back another year, Gonzaga was a 4 seed. The KenPom and the predictive said, hey, this is a top 10, top 8 team in college basketball. Even though the resume stuff wasn't quite as good, the committee bumped them up and made them a 4 seed. So that's something that for Boise State, if you can move up in those predictives, be a top 25 team in the predictive metrics, if they do end up landing on the bubble, having really strong predictives like that, it's going to be a strong indicator of being able to make the tournament. So moving up to 45, big deal. It is. And like I said, the Hawaii Pacific loss, it doesn't affect KenPom, and winning by margin does. So Boise State expected to beat the Wolverines by 10. You beat them by 24. KenPom's really going to like that, and it's going to bump you up. So it's just the state of college basketball now. when you play Utah Valley, you got to win by as much as you can, and when you when you play Hawaii Pacific, it doesn't matter as much, at least for those predictives. So, and I don't want that to seem like I'm just dismissing the Hawaii Pacific loss. Clearly, it's going to hurt their resume. I've seen some people on Twitter say, "Oh, the media will downplay it and pretend it doesn't hurt the resume." No, it will hurt the resume, but it didn't affect any of the predictives. And yeah, I know Sick Modern. I know Drew Fielder actually had a quote in his post game where someone asked about, had he been reflected on the Hawaii Pacific game, and he talked about, hey, we did a really nice thing of just we flushed it, and then kind of towards the end of the press conference, someone asked something else, and he's like, I probably won't ever think about the Hawaii Pacific game. We flushed it. It's gone. It's in the past. And I was like, yeah, Bronco Nation could probably afford to use some of that too. Could afford to flush that game, given that it might be the worst loss in program history. So anyways, any other last second comments here in the ICC YouTube chat? We'll get to them. We'll probably go for another 3 or 4 minutes here and then let you guys go. We'll have interviews from Drew Fielder, from Spencer Aarons, and from Leon Rice up on the Bronco Nation News YouTube page as soon as we are done broadcasting here. So be sure to go check out what their thoughts, what their comments on the game were. Be sure to go to BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 24/7 Sports Network, to get post-game analysis. I'll have an article up just quickly, briefly talking about this game, what looked good, maybe some stuff that didn't look as good, although this one will be a lot more positive, as you can imagine. Have coverage for all things basketball. So as we get into basketball season, if you are not a Bronco Nation News subscriber on 24/7 Sports, you're going to want to subscribe. Can subscribe. There's a sale going on right now. I believe it's less than $7 per month. I want to say, yeah, for just $7 per month, right there on the little ad read on the bottom. So go to BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe if you haven't already. Boise State takes down Utah Valley 101-77, bounces back, and now looking forward to UT Rio Grande Valley to try to get themselves to 2-1 and a winning record. My name is Nathan Carroll. I have been here in lieu of BJ Rains here on Bronco Nation News at the Jacksons Postgame Show. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will see you next time.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jacksons.
Start collecting them today.
Jacksons, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.